Hello, hello, hello there, my lovelies. Hello there, hello there, hello there, my lovelies on Insta. Hello there, my lovelies on Facebook. We are about, like a minute late because Katie and I were talking about boys. That's all I'm going to tell you. Steve Hoffman, I love you. So I wasn't cheating on you in what we were talking about, but was definitely girl talk about boys. So what else is fun to talk about on a Tuesday afternoon if it's not girl talk about boys? Well, I'll tell you what, design. I'm Donna Hoffman. They call me the interior design advocate, and every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, whoosh, we put a pin in it here at our luxury interior design company, and I come out here and I teach you something about design. I've been called one of the nation's leading coaches in interior design because of the online courses that I offer for design lovers just like you, although designers are taking my courses too. And when I'm not doing my teaching and coaching, a lot of our time is spent doing luxury design, and I feel honored to have the amazing team I have. I feel honored to have the amazing clients I have, the great project opportunities I have, and to have received some of the amazing design awards that we've received as well. So feeling really blessed, of course. So today, we are talking about furniture. I get so many questions about what it should cost, what might it cost, what do I want it to cost. Here's what I always say to kick this off. And by the way, if you have a question about furniture purchasing, furniture that you want to recover, whatever, that type of furniture question, please feel free to input it live, and I'll be happy to take your question live, as long as I don't need to look at a picture. I'm sorry, I'm looking all over the place because there are texts coming in. As long as I don't need to see a picture to be able to answer you well, I'm happy to take your question, okay? So here's what I want you to know about furniture. Furniture costs more than anybody wants it to, wishes it would, or thinks it should. That's just the name of the game. It's expensive to make. It's expensive to ship. It's just big and bulky, and a lot of hands have to touch it. So what I want you to know, and you've read this before in blogs across the world, not to mention mine as well, you need to purchase the best you can afford. And in this Facebook Live, what I want to do is I want to demystify upholstery and reupholstery rather. And I also want to tell you what those Pinterest rooms cost and what you can expect things to cost, okay? So within reason when we're talking in generalities. So as a disclaimer, if you said, Donna, what does it cost to go out to dinner? I don't know. Where do you want to eat? Are you going to McDonald's with your hubs? Or are you going to a five-star, prefix dinner, or a five-star a la carte dinner? Is it a BYOB, or are you guys ordering cocktails at $14 a pop, right? So it's kind of hard when you're talking about the custom world. Even if you're purchasing at retail, your living room or bedroom or XYZ room is going to be so different than every other design diva who's watching this live right now, okay? So that's the little disclaimer. When I talk about room prices on Pinterest, I'm going to be talking about the small version of a room, okay? So first, what we want to talk about is, why do people like me advise that you try to buy the best you can afford? It has to do not with what it looks like today. It has to do with what it will look like tomorrow. I remember working for this really mean doctor. So glad I don't work for him anymore as designing for him. And he had purchased, before hiring me, a couple of sofas from a really well-known, very elegant sounding, popular catalog. And they were about a year old. And I looked at them when I first met him and I said, oh, having a problem with those sofas. How old are they? And he said, a year. I went, ooh. He said, why? What's wrong with them? I said, well, the cushions look terribly compressed and lumpy. Are you telling me I don't buy quality furniture? I said, no, I'm not saying that. What else do you want to talk to me about? But yeah, he bought garbage and he spent a lot of money for it. So I can't say that price alone will ensure that you're going to get the quality that you want. There are some brands, furniture brands, particularly catalog, that are known within the interior design industry to offer less quality at the price at which they are stating, charging. So just do your due diligence if you're doing any online shopping. There are some wonderful catalogers as well. So do your due diligence, and before you shop, definitely you want to do a little Googling, complaints against blah, 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 okay? So you want to start there. And even complaints against the sofas by so-and-so or the tables by so-and-so, right? Get specific, and you'll see if complaints come up, stay away. But price often can point to the better quality. And when you talk about quality problems in furniture, what are they? Well, in sofas, you're going to have issues with cushions becoming really lumpy and the seams starting to travel. You can have seams start to open up, and you can have frame issues, cracking and settling. But the worst offenders usually are the cushions getting really lumpy and the fabric starting to what's the word, pucker, and seams opening up. With case goods, that's wood furniture, where do you see quality problems? Well, you'll have veneers chip or painted finishes chip. You'll have things leave water rings easily, or rings rather, and even if it's not a sweating water glass, problem with finishes. You can have drawers that just don't open and close well, and doors that don't open and shut well. Now, you can also add in things like stylistically, there are some beautiful furnishings at the higher end that have just amazing detail or interesting shape that you can't find at the lower price point. Lower price point goods are going to be the lowest manufacturing processes, the fastest manufacturing processes, using the lowest quality raw goods and the lowest trained labor. Why? Because they're mean? Because they're out to get you? No, because they're offering a low cost product. That's right. That's just how it is. So consumer, be savvy, be aware of what you're buying, right? So that's why the advice is out there to try to buy the best you can afford. Now, that said, within a room, can you do some value engineering? Sure. Spend on the sofa. You might want it to go downstairs in quality and price on the end tables, because they're not going to have as much. I'm sorry, I'm exhausted, so I'm not coming up with words. They're not going to have as much wear and tear on them, right? So that's where. So you can use your judgment on where you can kind of trade down in order to be able to put more money into certain more important items. So I want to talk for a sec about upholstery, because I get a lot of questions about upholstery. People say, is it worth it to reupholster? The general guidance is that if you are dealing with a frame that is a better manufacturer, you are better off reupholstering, because the cost to purchase new would be that much higher. If you're dealing with entry-level goods or mid-level goods, buying new may be the lower cost option for you. Break it down a little bit, and I'm on my phone here, so I'll get my calculator out. No calculator. Hello, no calculator. Got a lot of masks. I got one mask. Got all these masks. I got the disposable masks. All right, forget that. So Katie's going to do some math for me. Okay, so the average sofa takes 20 to 22 yards, okay, of fabric in a solid. So let's just do round numbers. Let's say it's 20 yards. And let's say you're controlling yourself on your upholstery fabric. Good upholstery fabrics usually start about $50 a yard. And they go up to 100, 150, 180, 200, 250. You can lose your marbles, right? But let's really say we can find a good workhorse fabric at $50 a yard. So 50 times, let's go conservatively. Let's say you need 22 yards, right? It's a big sofa, big tufted something, or not even tufted, just big sofa. So 22 times 50 is $1,100. That's $1,100 just on your fabric, plus the shipping cost for that fabric, sales tax on that. That's $1,100. Just to have somebody come out to your home, pick up your old sofa, take it back to their shop to do their magic, and then bring it back to your home. Just the delivery and the delivery charge to take it out and take it back in. We see commonly in the Philadelphia region about $150 for each trip. So you're at $300 just for pick it up, return it to your home. So we had $1,100 for the fabric, $300-ish for pickup and delivery. Then there's the labor. The labor is going to vary so much based upon what is being done to the sofa, what region of the country you're living in. Is it a tufted? Is it a lot of labor to deal with? Do they have to are they rebuilding the cushions because your cushions are shot? Probably they're going to want to rebuild some cushions. Just rebuilding cushions alone on a 3-seat sofa can be $800 and up, right? So your labor is most likely going to be more than your fabric cost if you are purchasing fabric in that lower end. So that give you a rough idea of where reupholstering can be, right? It's not a zero cost option. So if you want to just spend $1,000 on a sofa, go to Wayfair, buy a $1,000 starter sofa, or go to IKEA and buy a $1,000 starter sofa. Okay, so reupholstery is not the lowest cost option. It is, however, if you're looking at a custom sofa from the best made furniture world, where those sofas start at $5,500 and go up, yeah, if you control yourself on fabric, you could certainly reupholster for less than buying a new best made, right? So good, better, best, price goes up with good, better, best. Hopefully, hoping this is helping you. Give me some hearts or some thumbs up if this information so far is helping you to make a little more sense out of where reupholstery kind of comes in. Okay, so I'm seeing that people are liking this, so this is good. Alrighty, so now let's talk about what those rooms on Pinterest cost. What do they cost? The average Pinterest room, so you're talking about professionally designed spaces. I'm getting more hearts on this. I'm glad this is helping you. You're talking about professionally designed spaces, and these spaces are generally using upper mid-level to best made furniture, okay? That's where those spaces land on Pinterest and house also. So the average small living room, based upon our experience, that the purchasing costs, and the average small living room, I'm going to say, has 2 single windows in it. So for the furniture, the rug, the window coverings, the art, the accessories, all in, what does it cost to do that room? That average small living room on Pinterest, starting at price, is between $29,000 to $35,000, all in, starting at prices, and they can go higher than that if they're bigger rooms, right? These are the small ones. Dining room, Pinterest, house, small dining room, starting at price on Pinterest, on that quality goods. We believe, in what we see in our industry, starting at price is between $38,000 to $45,000. Again, a small dining room, 2 single windows in it. That's best made goods, upper mid-grade to best made, a kind of a blend between the two. And then bedrooms, easily small bedroom, beautifully done to Pinterest style with furniture, rugs, art, accessories, starting at price anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000. That's the best made area. So come down to maybe in half for mid-grade, and then come down and again another maybe 40% for more starter. And I will tell you right now, my greater experience on pricing is not going to be at the IKEAs of the world or the Wayfairs of the world. Why? Because I'm a snob? No. It's because our clients come to us in our luxury design company and they want a certain level of design and furniture that is in the best made quality. They want things that are a little different. They want things that are bench made. They want to have color options and fabric options. So it's not a snootiness, it's just where can we find what they're looking for. And the most expensive phone call, I think, to our company that hurts our company, heaven forbid, would be a client calling us and saying, hey, Donna, this sofa isn't performing very well, or hey, Donna, this table isn't performing very well. Now my team has to go out and make calls to figure out what the problem is, and a house call to see what's the problem and how do we get it fixed, and bringing in workrooms and an unhappy client. That's the expensive part, an unhappy client. So it's not worth it as a private design company. It's just not worth it for us to deal in lowest cost goods, where we know that's where more of the problems are going to happen. Have I purchased lowest cost goods? Yeah, my daughter just did her apartment in New York, her starter apartment. It was all Wayfair. And there were problems when things came, but Wayfair made good on things. So none of the prices I've shared with you about the Pinterest rooms and the house rooms is to intimidate or upset anybody. It's just to kind of pull the curtain back for you, right? There's no right or wrong. And then I thought maybe I could talk to you about, I don't know if it would be helpful for you. Yeah, what is generally a dining room table cost, right? Is it stained versus painted? What can you expect to spend on a master bedroom bed, a queen size bed? Well, you tell me, is it a canopy bed with an upholstered headboard and an upholstered footboard? Is it just an upholstered headboard? So you see how customized it gets? So it gets to be a little more difficult to do some of these projections with you. So hopefully this has helped to pull back the curtain, answer some questions for you. I'll see if there are questions. Is there anything you want me to add to this, Katie? Just send me a note or yell over there. Yell in. All right, so I'm going to see who's saying what. If you've got a furniture question, furniture purchasing question, feel free to pop it in. All right, I'm getting all of my hellos from all of my wonderful divas. Thank you, and love seeing you guys from Stone Mountain, Georgia, and Florida, and Michigan. That's Jane and Diane and Shelly and Trudy. Hi, girls. Michelle's here from Atlanta. Now the party can start. Michelle's here from Atlanta. Okay, so, all right, any questions? Birmingham, Alabama, into house. Becky's here. Okay, let's see. Okay, Charisse is saying, I'm purchasing a navy blue living room set. What colors do you suggest to decorate or accessorize? Charisse, my love, I don't know your design fingerprint, so I couldn't answer you well. I need to know a lot more about you and a lot more about what's going on in your connected spaces to be able to answer you. So a little bit general in that question. It's a good question, though. Maureen is saying, how do you design around power recliners and power sofas? I know, they're challenging. Where's the best placement for coffee tables that don't look out of place? Well, your coffee table is going to look out of place because it has to be far enough away, Maureen, from that piece that kicks out. So it is not easy to deal with those power sofas and power recliners. Not a favorite and not widely used in the design community because they create a wonkiness with that coffee table placement. And also, if some recliners stay in their frame as they recline forward. The whole mechanism pulls forward, but the frame doesn't. Others, the frame tilts. So that means you've got to be far enough from a wall to absorb that tilt. My job as a professional designer is to make sure it functions beautifully, the room I design and my team and I design, functions beautifully, but also looks gorgeous too. I've got to do both. So a power recliner is tough when you're working with the aesthetic. So I don't really have an answer for you, Maureen, on the workaround there. Maybe you're better off doing like bunching tables off center, that sort of thing, if that makes sense to you at all. All right, on Instagram, Elite Staging is saying, I have a wine-colored wood sofa that I wanted to paint white. You want to paint the wood of the sofa, a wine-colored wood sofa that I want to paint white. Do you think it will come out looking pink? Not if you prime it down and get rid of that base color paint. I don't see why you couldn't. But I am not crafty. I design it. I can't make it happen. So Elite Staging, I would Google a lot about how to go from dark to light, and what you need to do as some base treatment. Probably you have to sand stuff off and do a great primer. Okay, that's my first instinct there for you. All right, Jerry is saying, should the furniture style be all the same in an open floor plan when you see the space from the entry? Yeah, the living room, dining room, family room, kitchen. You know, Jerry, the design style is supported by the furniture silhouettes, right? Design is a very if this then that endeavor, and it is like cooking, a stew. It's what you put into the stew that gives you the flavor at the end. So there has to be simpatico between all of your furnishings. In fact, when you're dealing with inherited pieces from your former life, right? Or your spouse came with some things and you came with some things and your mom left you some things and then you bought some things. You have this hodgepodge. Yeah, it's not a great look. So you want to make sure that your furniture marries well. This is something that I teach inside of, actually, I think I teach inside of Design CPR, Creating Perfect Rooms with Accessories. No, I teach it inside of Decorating Genius, how to design semi-simple steps to great rooms. So it's a big lesson to talk to you about how to blend furniture styles. It's a very visual lesson. And our Facebook Lives, as you may have noticed, they're conversation. It's not a visual lesson. So I I would need an actual lesson to show you this. But short answer, Jerry, yes, there should be some podico. They're not matching, but they should all be in conversation with each other and sitting prettily with each other. But there is a way to mix furniture styles and do it very beautifully. It doesn't have to be all the same style, right? Hello from California, from Alice. Nice to have you here, Alice. Joe is saying, I need you to settle a disagreement. Does your furniture style have to blend with the bones of your house? Example, can you do contemporary in a cottage or a contemporary in a cottage or in a traditional house? Joe, without seeing what you're talking about, I'm going to say today, because transitional design it's such a hybrid kind of approach to design as a style itself. I think in many cases you can absolutely do what you're talking about. That said, if you're in a Tudor home and you enter and it's, and you've got these windows with these little tiny mullions and you're trying to do mid-century modern in there, it could get a little odd. But I think with color and line, I think there are ways to kind of morph back and forth between the exterior of your home and the interior of your home. I'm working on a new build right now with my team, and it looks like a real Bucks County farmhouse from the outside. Big, really big. And I don't believe the client wants to go Bucks County farmhouse. Bucks County is the county I live in practice, where our practice is based. A lot of colonial energy around here. And I have no problem doing simplified lines inside this home and sleek styling. It's not going to be farmhousey and cottagey and that sort of thing. It's going to be sophisticated. I think certain rooms are going to lean into more of like a, if you know the Philadelphia area, more like Rittenhouse Square. If you don't know the Philadelphia area, more like Manhattan's, upper, I don't know, Central Park West, or Madison or Fifth Avenue, right? So I think that you can bend that. Alrighty, so Pasmatamini is asking, hi Pasmat, I hope I didn't butcher your name. I apologize if I did. I had a sectional custom made 7 years ago, good condition still. Can I update it by reupholstering it? Yes, you can. Definitely would. Custom sofa, I would definitely reupholster, for sure. Yeah. Okay, Norma finally made it here live. Glad to have you, Norma. By the way, I didn't tell you what we're talking about next week, so I'll still take more questions, but I want you to know next week we're talking about, do you want to turn your love of interior design into a paying side gig or full-time career? Do you want to turn your love of interior design into a paying side gig or a full-time business, I should say? We're going to be talking about that, the ups and downs, and peeling back the curtain there for you too. And by the way, based upon the questions I'm getting, I think some of you might want a little bit of design support, learning about how to do more with your interior design. So I encourage you, if you're on Facebook, look at the link that we posted to a phenomenal online course we have called Decorating Genius System, 7 Simple Steps to Great Rooms. It is phenomenal. I love teaching this material, and people love the way I teach because I break down creative information into a very linear path, because I've got a strong right brain and a strong left brain. I'm both. I'm kind of a unicorn. I'm getting hearts on that one. So I encourage you to check out that course if you haven't already done so. Weird eyelash turning here. So, and there's also a current 20% off coupon that we're keeping current through COVID for 20% off one of our courses. So there you go. Okay, so Terry is saying, who sells quality furniture anyway? Terry, are you a little frustrated? Terry, it depends on the region of the country that you live in. Interior designers sell quality furniture in many cases, but not all. I mean, oh gosh, there is definitely something in my eye. I mean, there's some designers who want to be working in lowest priced goods because they're trying to run certain types of projects through their company. That's a decision. So I wouldn't decide because a designer sold it to you, it's better made quality, but in most cases it would be. Most designers are dealing in custom and quality furniture for the reasons I've already explained earlier in this. So I don't know what to tell you in terms of who sells it in your area, because I don't know the retailers in your area. So I apologize for that. And I don't deal with retailers. I deal directly with manufacturers. Michelle is saying, this is all helpful. I'm thinking of reupholstering a chaise lounge chair in my master bedroom. I want to use a teal velvet, but it may not be worth it. I'm going to research it. Listen, when you find that velvet, I want you to scratch it with your fingers. with your fingernails. And if you see a bunch of marks, that velvet is going to leave a hiney mark every time you sit in it. And that really bothers some people. So a really nice short-haired velvet shouldn't do that. But there's some beautiful velvets that do. So just be aware of that. And also, if you're going to reupholster in a velvet or a chenille, make sure you ask the reupholsterer, should this fabric be backed? A backing is it's like a latex backing that gets applied aftermarket, and it stiffens the fabric enough so that it has a nice resilience as you see your rear end hits it, gets off, hits it, gets off, so that you're not getting pucker marks, right, over time. The fabric isn't stretching out. Those are some 2 quick things. Final 2 questions from Katie. Look, I'm using this as a prop. You pass me something, I'm going to use it, Katie. Listen, if you missed any portion of this fabulousness, what do I want to tell you? You know what I want to tell you. You can find us on YouTube. Here it is. You can find us at the Interior Design Advocate on YouTube. And if you're not following us at our design studio, you can do so at IDH Designs, is what we're doing in our luxury design company. Oh, I wonder if we should show video tomorrow. We're going to make a little house call to something that's being built. I won't show you the inside. Maybe I'll show you a little of the outside. We'll see. Anyway, and then at decorating.genius is our Instagram for the Interior Design Advocate, for our teaching brand. So if you're not following us there on Facebook, you peeps, what are you missing the party for? All right, so there you go. So 2 final questions. Here we go. And remember, next week, it's all about, do you want to turn your love of interior design into a paying side gig or a full-time biz? All right, so Lalitha is saying, I bought a modern sofa. Is it in trend? It's in trend and comfortable, but not cozy to sit on and see a movie. Yeah, I know. It's hard if you buy a sofa that you haven't sat in, and leather isn't always the most cushy, comfortable to sit in. Angela is saying, question, do you like to purchase antique furniture and paint it to match a desired decor? I love painting furniture. I think it's amazing. I think it's such a big bang for the buck to be able to do that. I love when people do that. Everyone's using chalk paint or high gloss. I like the high gloss, but chalk, if you're doing something that's more cottagey, then you wouldn't do high gloss. So the finish, Angela, is going to really be part of the story that you're telling with your furniture. What design style story you're telling? I'm getting hearts on that one. What is my feedback keeping the antique furniture versus keeping? Okay, here's the story. If it's really a collectible piece and you painted it, you just hurt the resale value on it, the collectability part of it. If it's a piece that's, more vintage and you inherited it, from a family member, and you're not worried about resale value, I paint it. I do all kinds of things to it to make it more current, more something that you love. It's a great way to reuse a resource that you already own. It's a great way to spare the landfill. I think in the right home, I think it's a beautiful thing to do. I have a chest in my kitchen that, shoemakers' children go without shoes. I just don't have the time or the bandwidth to figure out what I want to do with, but I know, I see it in my brain repainted in a gloss. I just have to do the rest of the room, redo the rest of the room furnishings before I do that. No time for mama. Carol is saying, I will only buy 8-way hand-tied sofas and chairs. Other is too uncomfortable. Carol, I agree with you. I'm a big fan of 8-way hand-tied, and if budget will support it, that's always where I lead a client. But they are more pricey. It can take several hours to 8-way hand-tie a single sofa versus just dropping in the gizmo. It's very different. It's called a sinuous S-curve. It's not called the gizmo, but it's like a cage that gets dropped in instead of 8-way hand tying. So, all right. And then is there any other, okay, I'm getting questions about ideas for guest bedrooms, and okay, let's stay on topic with furniture questions. How are we doing on time, Katie? My watch is not on my wrist.
It's 4:30. It's okay.
It's 4:30. Okay, we got to go. Okay, comes the last question. Mary is saying, when you gave prices of Pinterest rooms, was that just for the items in the room, or did it include the decorator? Didn't include the decorator. That's the cost of purchasing. And when I said furnishings, art, rug, furnishings with an S technically is furniture and rug and window coverings. Sometimes people who don't work in the design industry hear furniture when I say furnishing. So furniture, rugs, window coverings, lamps, I said window covering, lamps, and painting the room. No, I don't, that doesn't even include painting the room. Purchasing, accessories, artwork. And when I say artwork, I don't mean you went to a gallery and fell in love with an $8,000 canvas or a $5,000 canvas. I'm saying you're putting up artwork. It's maybe $600 for a print. Maybe do 2 prints over the sofa, right? That in those types in that room that has a sofa. So yeah, those prices are scary, aren't they? Those are Pinterest, those are House, those are things that are being done by design professionals. But I'll tell you that when potential clients call our company to see if we can design for them, we have an initial phone call with them to make sure we understand what they want, what kind of timing, and so forth. And because I believe design should be wisely, and part of that is right use of budget, we ask people right away, what's your budget? What have you, put away, for this project or assigned for this project? And sometimes people will really dance around. They don't want to tell us, or they really don't know. But then I use the analogy, listen, if you were car shopping, you would know, are you leasing or are you buying? And based upon that, you'd know, what dealership am I looking in? You wouldn't be looking in Mercedes if you had a budget for Toyota. There's nothing wrong with Toyota. There's nothing right with Mercedes. They're just different products. So based upon what your budget is, you know where you're shopping. Am I engaging a designer? Am I going to be dealing with best made furniture and those costs? And it's never a happy conversation when we have to say to somebody, $20,000 is a really big, but that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to my family. It's a lot of money, $20,000. But we don't know how you can furnish your dining room for $20,000 working in best made furniture. You might want to look in entry level to mid level. Mid level, you might do it, you may not, or you might do a blend, right? So depends on the size of the dining room. Are you reusing any furniture? Is it all new, right? All these other things kind of come into the equation. So that was a really good question from you, Mary. I hope I clarified for you. And I see a lot more questions coming in, and I'm sorry, I just don't have time. I've got to get going. We have more to do before we stop here at the design studio for the day. So forgive me if I didn't get to your question. There are more of you than there are of me. So I always tell you, get here early, get your question in early, and questions that are on topic, I always try to take those before I take off-topic questions. All right, loves. So I will see you next week, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here. Do you want to turn your love of interior design into a paying side gig or a business? And if you don't, but a friend of yours does, maybe somebody's gotten laid off, maybe they're furloughed, maybe they just hate what they're doing, send them to us, 4 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we're here. Okay? All right, lovelies. Great seeing you. Big hug and a kiss to you, and I'll see you next week. Thanks so much for being here. Bye. Hi, this is Donna. Thanks so much for watching. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and comment below so I know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to the Interior Design Advocates channel so you don't miss any of our great content.